the purpose of this conversation is just to expand the thought process of the Black community and how we spend our money and how much power that we have in this U.S. economy. Good morning from your favorite internet
Stay
uncle.
ready. You don't have to get ready. Get established. Let's go.
So we're gonna start it off, and I'm gonna ask our guest to kick this one off. Keith, do you know how long the black dollar takes to circulate in and out of our community?
It's a great question, man. I haven't done a study on it. You know, I've heard several times, but I believe it doesn't circulate in our community at all. I mean, one time, you know, you're paid and you take that money out of the community and you're servicing someone else. You know, we don't have that set up in our community at this time, period, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's pretty much a we get paid and we pay it out. So the actual number is about what they saying is roughly is 6 hours.
6 hours.
So we get money, it comes in, and within 6 hours, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't found a proper way to keep that dollar moving along in our community. Let me ask this. I'm gonna just throw this out to the fellas, and the most anxious one can take it as we go. We'll continue to go on. But what would you say is the single, what are some solutions that you could have for the black dollar to circulate longer? Because 6 hours is no time.
Well, I've talked about this on previous shows, man. We're one of the few communities that let other communities come in our community and operate business-wise. If you look at it, man, you can't go in other communities, let's just say an Asian community, and see a black corner store or a black gas station or a black supermarket. That just doesn't happen. But you can come in the black community and you see Asians, you see Indians, you see Caucasians. And, you know, how can our dollar circulate longer if we don't have our own businesses and we don't support our own businesses? I think that's one problem that we're dealing with in our community.
Okay, that's a great answer, D. Fellas, anyone of y'all got any input on that?
I mean, if we would center our our buying power on our community, like if there are black businesses that are there that provide a particular service that we could use, you know, pull some of that into those businesses so that they can continue to stay open and continue to provide jobs and for our community.
Okay. I mean, that would be a good thing. One thing I like to rebut on with Derek, I know what you're saying about us allowing people to come in our community, but we don't govern that power from a standpoint of the municipalities. You know, that's the local government that is approving these people to come in and be in these places. How they stay is with our dollars. How they leave is without our dollars.
And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that we can stop them coming in our community. Maybe I worded that wrong, but the fact that we support it, like, you know, I remember when I first moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and I wanted to get some buffalo wings. That was real popular in the 90s, still popular today. And they used to have this spot in the hood called Wing King. And when I went to Wing King and I saw, you know, Asians running Wing King, and they were frying up wings in the black community, I was a little thrown off. Even though we had Asian spots in Portsmouth, Virginia, where I grew up, it was just traditional Asian food. It wasn't a situation where they were making buffalo wings or soul food or whatever you may have. But, you know, that was a little different for me. But, you know, the line was wrapped around the building. People were buying those wings, and then you might have somebody, a black man. I remember this dude named Allen opened up a barbecue pit, and you know he didn't last a year. He didn't last a year. Food was pretty good, but he just didn't get the support from the black community that the Wing King got. And, and I thought about it then. I was like, wow, we're not really supporting our black owned businesses like that. But we'll run over here because the wings are cheaper. They have a franchise throughout the hood. They're able to sell their food cheaper. And that was the thing. Allen, they complained about his prices. And, his prices were a little higher because, he didn't have the businesses the other spot had, and it cost him more to get his inventory.
If you got that person working at some store that they are making maybe like $10 an hour, and they're bringing home a check that isn't even $1,000, and you're saying, okay, well, all right, I got to go to this one place and spend maybe 20 possibly $30 on a meal for me and whoever I may take with me. It's going to determine where you go. So I'm just saying that's another thought process that we as people have that deter us from that support.
I mean, I feel like as business owners also, the level of customer service that we give, it needs to be consistent. A lot of times when you hire young people to work in your establishment, they come in, and depending on what type of day they have, that's the type of service you get. If you follow the model that Chick-fil-A has laid out, it's consistent across the board. No matter what Chick-fil-A you go, wherever, it's pretty much the same. And, we have to, as black business owners, set the standards. We want a level of excellence when it comes to customer service, because that can go a long way.
Yeah, there's another chicken place I ain't gonna mention that's consistent too, but not in the Chick-fil-A service aspect. So, and it don't matter where you go in the country, the service is garbage. The chicken sometimes is delicious, but I'm done with them. I had my last bad experience, but moving forward, the one thing I would say too, you got something, Keith?
Yeah, and listen to the conversation is one thing that kind of echoes with me is the mindset of the black community as well.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, a lot of times we don't have these establishments in our communities because, like D. Jones said, you have your Asians, you have Caucasians, you have the Indians that have the establishments in our community. So the mindset from there starts, okay, well, we have to have make a conscious decision to support each other. And that, because a lot of times when you look at Portsmouth in this whole, you just think about how many black businesses are actually there where you can support. So you may have to go outside of Portsmouth. You may have to go to the black pages, but it is a conscious decision that we have to make as a community to regain our economical power.
True indeed. Well said. So moving forward, so what would you say is the single largest issue that has the black dollar escaped so fast?
I'll say designer names, brand names. People, our community, we look for those elite, clothing brands, shoe brands. We spend our dollars on trying to look a certain way more than we do in any other kind of service field or industry that that we can really put our dollars to.
So you're saying basically buying a bunch of depreciating assets.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was just getting ready to say it depends on if you're talking about females or males. As far as females, man, they will go and spend astronomical amounts of money on hair. Listen, let me just say this, man. A bundle of hair can cost anywhere from $100 to $500, man. for a bundle of hair. And some of these high schoolers, man, they may get a bundle of hair and it might last 2 weeks. It's crazy, man. It's
If
crazy.
that.
You look at the nail industry. Women are constantly getting their nails done, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just constantly. And when you talk about young men, like Raymond was saying, designer sneakers are crazy right now, man.
Yeah.
Just the price of sneakers, and then you get a little older, and you buying these older cars, throwing these $3,000-$4,000 rims on them, man. The rims cost more than the cars. So
spray paint M&M on the side of the door.
So I mean, it's right in front of our faces, man. Where the black dollar is going. So it can't circulate if that's the case, man. Between a bundle of weave, acrylic for nails, you got the lash craze right now, and you got different type of lashes, and that can get pretty expensive. It's some lashes that women get that cost like $100, man.
Hey, let's not forget to mention recreational
marijuana
beverages and yes.
So, some of that could be supporting the black business though.
Yeah, right.
Entrepreneurs out there.
They actually circulating money in the community when
Right. That's the only place where it may circulate faster than 6 hours. It's in the plethora of marijuana strains and concoctions where it goes. No, we just having fun, y'all. So Keith, let me ask you, man, what would you say the single largest issue that has the black dollar escape so fast?
The education piece is what I feel is what's needed in the black community. For one, we now we really don't have our communities now because of gentrification, in a lot of areas that have come about. But at the same time, we need to understand there's such thing as called social stewardship. What do you owe to your community, as an individual? You see in some of the lower areas, man, I really hate it, man. I see people pull up, they open the car doors, they just drop the trash out, things of that nature, not really taking care of where you live or caring about where you live.
Right.
So when we look at economics, it's the same thing. You're spending your money on the recreational activities, like you just mentioned, and you're buying all these depreciating assets. So my thing is educating individuals on how money works. Once you understand how money works, you can actually put that into your life and make money work for you. But until you understand how money works, it's nothing we're going to be able to do. You're going to continue to just spend on frivolous things. You're not going to save, and you're going to find ourselves in that same loophole. And one other thing too, you asked about, one of the issues with us supporting black businesses. Again, that mental disparity that we have in servicing each other. For some reason, a lot of our people that look like us, they look at Black-owned businesses as being cheaper businesses, and that has to stop. And it all starts with, just the basic education, man.
That's a great point, man. One thing I like to add on that point with dealing with that is the lack of disruption. The Black community, we don't focus on where is a hole somewhere that can be filled. And I think as we build businesses and as we move forward, we have to focus on excellence. In addition to having a good product, we need to focus on excellence and the experience, because people go places for experience. And that's why Chick-fil-A, look, all of us has done it, and even the viewers, you guys have done it. You will look at Chick-fil-A and it'll be 3 lines side by side wrapped around a building twice. And you know what? You'll still go get in that line because number one, you're going to be served courteous and you're going to still be served fast, even though they got 3 lines wrapped around the building. We have to establish a point of excellence in what we provide and in our customer service. So moving forward, I'm glad Keith, you brought up some very good points.
I think
Keith has some.
Oh, got some. Go ahead.
You know, a lot of Black businesses, man, we're great at starting. You know, we start off with that mindset of being excellent. Then for some reason, it seems that the management or the ownership, they start to downgrade and in the services or the supplies and what they're using. And one of the main things I'm talking about, like soul food restaurant, you know, a lot of them start up and they're excellent in the beginning, and then as they start to grow, as they start to grow, you see where they begin to possibly take shortcuts in some areas, not using those same ingredients in which made them, you know, excellent in the beginning, and start to look at that revenue. And they begin to pull money out of the business. And that is one of the biggest things that I've seen also in businesses in general. When they start, they begin to take money out of the business too soon.
Right.
And so you need to continue that process. And yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you mentioned something very key earlier on in the last statement, the previous statement about education. So my question is, do we need more college, more trades, or more business owners? What's going to be the biggest impact on the Black community economically? More college, more trades, or more business owners?
So this is just my thought. I think all of those are the correct answer, and I'm gonna break it down. It starts at a young age. What you see and everything that we've been talking about as far as our community is programming.
Mm-hmm.
You grow up, and generation after generation sees their parents or their grandparents operating in a certain way, and it just becomes habit. So you're programming these kids at a young age to handle money a certain way. And that's what we need to focus on. Like, we need to be able to educate our youth on finances. If you look at other communities, they start their kids off at a young age with dealing with finances. You know, they might be 7 years old taking a financial course. At 15 years old, they have their own credit card, and they're learning how to operate in this world using finances at a young age. And I think that's the issue. Education, more business owners, all that is important. But the most important aspect to me is just the programming aspect, starting at a young age and getting kids to see how to operate with their finances.
Good answer. We need to be more apt to encourage our young people to start businesses, because 4 years in a business and 4 years in college can be just as valuable. But along with that, if we can, you know, come up with different mentorship situations, because that's where we missing. We kind of trying to learn everything on our own. There are places where, you know, that is thriving, certain parts of the country. But I think that's a very, very, very important part. We need more trades and more business owners. I think college, if you're going to be in the STEM field, or if you, you know, anything medical, biochemical, nursing, things of that nature, then I say those people that have those tracks that they know they want to be in, where you have to have that college degree, but you don't have to go to college to be in business. No. To be a business person, to be in different types of finance, there are courses that you will have to take, but you don't necessarily need to have a college degree to move forward in that.
You said something big that stuck out to the mentors, the mentorship. That's huge, man. I was just having this conversation with a friend of mine coming out of high school. I had no clue. And just then, looking in hindsight, I missed a lot of money on the front end because I didn't have that mentor to kind of guide me and give me the correct information I needed coming out of high school. So that's very important.
Right. I think honestly, if we got some kids that really need something, I think learning some other businesses. I mean, you can be a plumber in like 2 years maybe. There's so many different things you can do in the trade aspect.